A company called HQST recently reached out to me and wanted to know if I'd be interested in a collaboration. They've been following my off-grid cabin build, and they figured that it could be due for an upgrade, and it could. As most of you guys know that follow my channel, I've been using a DIY battery pack to power my entire cabin, and that's done a great job for me. But as I've added more and more appliances to the cabin, I've got a fridge, I've got Starlink, satellite, I've got an ice maker, and then just lighting and other things in the cabin, I've outgrown that system. So HQST has given me an opportunity to upgrade my solar system, and we'll be able to get it up to where it needs to be in order to run everything that I've got. So what I have from them, I've got this 100 amp hour LifePo 4 battery. I've got this HQST Solar Charge Controller. This is also a DC to DC MPPT charge controller, so it has all kinds of capabilities built into it. And there's some other features too that I'm going to talk about in a minute. And they also sent me two 190 watt solar panels. So that's going to double my solar capacity. This is going to triple my my charging capabilities at the cabin. And with this battery, I now have enough that I can swap out completely. It's going to give me more solar capacity. All right, so we'll start off by talking about the 100 amp hour battery. All right, so if we take a look at the specs, which are printed right on the battery, which is nice, you can see that the nominal voltage is 12.8 volts, charging voltage is 14.6 volts, the max discharge is 100 amps, which is good. The max charging current is 50 amps. After reading through the user guide, I know that optimal charging is 20 amps, but you can go between, up to 50 amps and be okay. Your operational temperatures are 32 degrees Fahrenheit to 113 degrees Fahrenheit. And you do have low and high temperature protection, which is really nice. And you can connect up to 4 of these batteries in parallel and 4 in series for a 4x4 configuration of 16 batteries. So that is really nice capability. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this battery in parallel with 2 other brands. I've got a Dr. Prepare battery, and I've got a third battery that's also a different brand, and I'll be connecting those up in parallel. And you can do that as long as all 3 batteries have the same chemistry. In other words, that they're all 3 lithium iron phosphate batteries, and they all 3 have the same BMS discharge capabilities. This one has a discharge capability of 100 amps, so do the other 2 batteries. So in this instance, I'm good to connect these up. You always have to check that, because you don't want to just connect up batteries in parallel that are different chemistries. You don't want to connect AGM to flooded. You don't want to connect a battery with a 50 amp output that you find in lower quality batteries to a high quality 100 amp output like you find in the HQST battery. That'll bring down the performance of your entire system, and this is the kind of thing that you always need to check before you connect any batteries in parallel. Okay, so let's talk about the lifespan of this battery. It has a 4-year warranty on it, and the typical lifespan is 10 years. I know from reading the specs that with the 4,000 cycles, when you get to 3,000 cycles, you're still going to be running at 80% depth of discharge, which is really good. And then by the time you get to 4,000, you're still going to have 70% depth of discharge. And you do a little bit of math, and you can figure out that it's going to take nearly 11 years to reach those 4,000 cycles. And that's if you fully discharge and recharge this battery every single day for 11 years. So you've got a lot of protection, a lot of battery life built into this system. All right, so let's take a look at the solar panel. All right, the first thing you might notice is the size. If I back up a little bit, you can see that this is just a little bit larger than a typical 100 watt solar panel. So in the same amount of space, maybe a little bit more, you're getting almost twice the amount of power, 190 watts out of this panel. So that's awesome. That means that you're going to have a lot more room on your roof or wherever your solar panel setup is going to be to provide more power in less space. So let's talk about some of the key features. First off, this is made with premium monocrystalline solar cells, and what that does, it's going to give this panel the ability to be up to 22.1% efficient. So that's a lot higher than typical solar panels. So you're going to be able to get a lot more power from this solar panel than you would most equivalent solar panels. Okay, and because this uses premium solar cells, if you take a close look, you can see that these solar cells are free from defects. There are no scratches, chips, or micro cracks anywhere in the build. So it's just built with high quality. Okay, and this is the feature that I'm most excited about. Monocrystalline solar panels are notorious for poor performance in low light situations. Maybe it's really overcast, or you've got something that's blocking part of the panel, and those panels, they just don't produce when that's the case. But with this HQST panel, it has integrated bypass diodes, which allows it to bypass the areas that are being blocked, or even in low light configurations, and the panel itself will continue to operate. So that's the kind of performance that you see in high quality solar panels that is not typical in monocrystalline panels. So that's a really, really nice feature. Okay, and these panels are they're built to last. They've got multi-layered technology that shields the solar cells both on the backing and on the front of the panel itself. So you don't have to worry about physical damage that might happen in a windstorm or something like that. It's going to be well protected. Okay, if we take a look at the back of the panel, you can see that it comes with the integrated MC4 cables that you've come to expect on most solar panels, and these are long enough that they can easily connect panel to panel, so you can set them up in series or in parallel. And this whole unit is IP65 rated, so you don't have to worry about only using these on top of a roof or in some kind of a solar rack. Because it's IP65 rated, you can actually use these in marine environments. So take them out on a boat. You don't have to worry about any kind of water or corrosion happening inside any of the electrical components. So again, just a high quality unit. I'm really impressed with everything that I've seen so far from HQST. And that brings us to the charge controller. I'm actually not new to HQST. I have actually used a smaller version of their charge controller in my camper that I built. And I was impressed then with the quality of the unit. Some of the features that it has that kind of set it apart, I mean, it has these built-in cooling fins on the bottom. The other unit did as well. But this particular unit, I've never seen a charge controller with the capabilities of this unit. If we take a look here just on the front, you can see the different lighting configurations that it has, and you can see that this will take an input from solar. You can be connected up to multiple battery banks, not just multiple batteries, but multiple battery banks that are in different locations. It can connect to the starter battery as well, and it can monitor the alternator that's charging, the whole system. What this does is it'll detect the starter battery, and once it's up to a certain voltage, and that varies depending on whether it's a regular or a smart alternator system, it will automatically kick over and start charging your secondary batteries. So in other words, this unit can use two different charging inputs, whether it's from solar panels that are mounted on the roof or from the alternator that's in your vehicle, and use any combination of those methods, providing three different modes of use. This controller also has buck boost DC to DC charging, and what that does is it allows you to take a 24-volt source and charge a 12-volt target, or vice versa, you can take a 12-volt source and charge a 24-volt target. So this is awesome for applications like in a camper that you might be towing or an RV. But I'm not going to use this in an RV. I'm not going to use it in a camper. I'm going to be installing this at my off-grid cabin. So you might be wondering, well, those are great features. How's that going to help you at your off-grid cabin? And how that's going to help me, it's going to future-proof me, for one thing, because I have a well that I've drilled out at the cabin. It's not connected up yet, but eventually I'm going to be putting a pump house out there that's going to double as a storage shed. So this is going to allow me to install a second battery bank in my well house that I can monitor from the same solar panel setup that I'm going to be installing. So with one solar panel system, I can charge two different battery banks with this controller. So that's just an awesome feature. I'm really excited to get this installed. There's also an app available for this controller. It's available for both Apple and Android. And pairing is a snap. You do have to have power to the controller, but then you just follow these three steps. And once you get that set up, you can have real-time monitoring, keeps historical data, and allows you to configure your battery setups remotely from the convenience of your phone. So that covers the different components of the system that was sent to me by HQST. I'm getting ready to pack up to head out to my cabin, where I'm going to do another video installing these into the cabin system. I also have a discount code that I'm going to flash on the screen now, and I'll also include in the description where you can get 10% off this whole setup if you're interested in getting this set up for your own configuration. So that's going to do it for this video. Stay tuned for the upcoming video where I take this all out to the cabin and get it all installed and running. So we'll talk to you later.